We're up to Babylon's ashes, everyone. As usual, spoiler warning for anything that comes before this. No spoilers for this book. Spoiler-free review, but anyway. So, as always, same. Consistency and pacing. We're now on book 6, and it hasn't dipped. I can't believe it, and I say it every time, so I'm going to stop talking about it. I'm going to bring it up every time they nail it, and they nailed it again. So, see previous videos for all that shit. I'm going to try and spend less time because, I mean, let's be honest, we're pretty far into this series. But I do have a few things to say, especially and primarily, I have a lot less complaints about this book. And it's funny because I'll get into it. Characters. We're back to the revolving door of characters, but normally it's been like 4 characters on this book, and we revolve through the 4, and then last book we got the main crew of the Rocinante, and we revolve through them. This book we do get some new characters, and we're going to revolve through them, but we're also going to revolve through like every other character from every other book ever. So it's like the revolving door of point of view characters on crack. It's just, it's dialed up to 11. It's completely out of control. And there's 0 character development because of it. And I've spent 5 videos on the previous 5 books complaining about them. There not being any character development in this series, and the characters seem weak and hollow. This book does not develop the characters either. It makes no attempt, no effort whatsoever. And it's the one time that I forgive them for it and say, yeah, that was totally appropriate. Completely appropriate to abandon it entirely, because we are now at a climax. It could have been the climax, which actually, when the show climaxes and ends on season 6, if it could just climax and end like this, I could see how they could just be like, yeah, we don't need the rest. This actually feels like a really nice climax. And after what happens to Earth in the last book, like I said, there's no ignoring this, and they don't. It goes straight into the consequences, and now there's a war, like an all-out war, and it is just fast-paced, and we clip right through from beat to beat to beat to beat. We set it up, and now we're dealing with the consequences. Now we're dealing with the actual shit hitting the fan, and it is pretty much balls to the wall. The whole book, and we're paying off actually a lot of stuff that's happened throughout the series, which is why we're revolving through so many characters, because there's a lot of ground that we're trying to cover, and a lot of things that are happening all at the same time, because this has exploded, and these consequences are coming to bear now in the book. And so due to that, now it's time for the character to take a back seat, for this to take the front seat. That's fine. I just wish there would have been more development leading up to this point, so I would have been a little bit more invested, and I would have cared a little bit more. But here we are. It's too little too late for that. But that doesn't mean that this book, having made this decision, was the wrong decision. It would have been the right decision for this book, irregardless of the old books. Anyway, so basically no character development, just action. And that's perfectly fine for this book. Actually, it works quite well for this book. And I will say, I think I already said it, but it's okay. I will say, I'm very happy that they set up the consequences and now they're paying them off. That, it sounds silly to say, because it sounds like, well, duh, that's what you do. Well, not this series. They kind of set up consequences and then just ignore them the next book around. But it feels really good to have something set up, and then we pay it off and we follow through, and there's this very distinct, direct through line. We're not meandering, we're not fiddle farting, We're directly dealing with what's happening and what has happened and what has been built up. And it's like, finally, especially after I said the last book almost lost me. So when I picked this one up and we really just kind of barreled right on through and it felt like we were doing something and going somewhere, I thought, oh, shit. We're back, baby. No, but seriously, I was very happy when that happened. I felt, okay, I can be back on board with this series. And I am, actually. At this point, I'm back on board with the series, which is good, because they were losing me. Although this ends so definitively, you know, the consequences that have been set up to this point, that you're going, where do we, this is a 9-book series and I'm on 6, and we really just tightened it up, kind of just cinched it down. Where do we go from here? We have 3 books left. What are we going to build up a new arc and pay that off in 3 books? We're going to find out, I guess. I don't know. But at this point, I was satisfied with the ending to the arc that ended, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Because not everything's tied up, obviously, or the series would have ended here. Another thing that I've been saying all throughout this is that big blockbuster feeling. I say it in every video. There is that big blockbuster feeling that these books have had the entire time, and they're very good at. They nail it every time. And it's just, this book takes that, and it is that. Once again, dialed to 11, because that's the point in the story where we're at. We're at a climax of sorts, or a climax for a lot of the events that have been happening thus far. Like I said, that character rotation has just gone crazy and dialed up to 11 and just on crack. This is also that big blockbuster feeling dialed to 11 and feels like it's on crack. And that is actually kind of wonderful. It just, that feels good. It really gets you excited. It gets you invested. You never really know who. You don't really fall into a lull. It's just dialed up. It's cranked in there, and it just keeps you going. I will say that this is the most fun that I've had with this series, possibly since the first book, or at least the first couple, where it was getting me going. And I was, like I said, I was really dragging there, especially in the last book. And this one picked it up. Actually, this could have, if they would have paid off everything, this could have been a really nice topper to the whole series. We've still got more to go, so we'll see how that plays out. But as of right now, this book was really good. It was a pick-me-up, and I needed it for this series to do that, or I might, you know, I might have dropped off. You know, I'm gonna bring this one all the way back up to a 7. I mean, I'm not kidding. It was, for what it was, once again, it's kind of like the first one. I think the first one came in at 7.5, a little bit higher than this one. But it's like the first one. This one knew what it was, it knew what it wanted to be, and it nailed it. It didn't falter, it didn't flounder, it just nailed it. So maybe not quite as good as the first one, which, like I said, 7.5. But very good, and I was very satisfied. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna knock this one in at a 7.